Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Path of Exile 2 / Last Epoch video here. Today I'm just going to be talking a little bit about both games. Kind of my thoughts on the two of them. Just, I don't normally play two ARPGs back to back within just like a couple days of each other. Usually it's, you know, months apart, kind of when I get that itch that I want to scratch. And then whichever game, you know, currently I feel like is going to, you know, give me that sense of, you know, accomplishment that I'm looking for, whether it's PoE 1, Diablo 2, PoE 2, Last Epoch, Grim Dawn, you know, Titan Quest, just to name a few that I've played over the years. So right now, I've been playing PoE 2, you know, the new latest patch, like 0.2, and then I jumped into Last Epoch. I was actually like pretty excited when they announced Last Epoch Season 2 because it's a game that I really haven't fully explored the end game on and like everything that it has to offer. So I was looking forward to it, and then I was actually like a little disappointed when they announced that Path of Exile 2 was gonna launch basically their next update at the same time, and so that was kind of a little, you know, disappointing then when Last Epoch decided to push their launch date back a couple weeks, and I was like, okay, well, you know, like I guess I'll go ahead and check out the new patch in PoE 2. I wasn't really like feeling ready personally to jump back into PoE 2 because I felt like there just wasn't really enough content that they announced that was coming out for it to be really worthwhile for me to check it out. But at the same time, I have a hard time like staying away from it.
Good day, traveler.
Alright, so we got the wolf pack.
Farewell.
And so then I went ahead and I jumped back into PoE 2, and I wanted to, you know, try out some of the new stuff that I hadn't tried. So I was playing a staff character. You know, people have already kind of played Invoker Monk, you know, significant amount of play time on that Ascendancy. So I thought I'd check out Smithik Katava just because it was, you know, the new thing. And in a early access game, that's kind of like what I enjoy, is, you know, checking out kind of the the latest stuff, the new stuff, to see kind of what I can figure out on my own. And so I got, you know, 2 maps. And the state of like Smithik Katava, really, in my opinion, the only thing that it has going for it is the like fire resist aspect of it. And possibly, I haven't like tested it yet, but like the fire spell on hit portion of it, but even that like felt like it was probably gonna be fairly weak. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now I'm like the spinning laser thing from Diablo 4. That's kind of like meme worthy. See how much damage. Oh, okay, so that actually does like kind of a pretty solid damage. So anyways, then with getting to maps, I felt like, you know, I had kind of accomplished more or less like what I wanted to with the build. Like, granted, there were, you know, some minor stat upgrades that I could still figure out. I could get it to do more damage and maybe like be more survivable, but again, like, it's just basically I had figured out what the build was going to be, so it was kind of like less exciting at that point. And that's one thing where I think Last Epoch 2 currently has Path of Exile 2, or sorry, Last Epoch, not Last Epoch 2, But Last Epoch, in terms of like build customization and variety, kind of has Path of Exile 2 dead to rights. Just with how much sort of like customization you can do to your character. And it's kind of an ongoing process to create your character build, like all the way probably up until like max level. Like I feel like you're still going to be tweaking things, you're still going to be getting and crafting upgrades. The crafting system in Last Epoch I think is probably one of the best, if not the best, of any ARPG that's currently, you know, playable. And let me just kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So just in terms of like every skill has its own like passive tree, so you can kind of set up every skill to do different things. So it can, like I'm currently using it, using this ability as like a generator to like gain mana. So I have like high attack speed, AoE, and then I gain like mana per hit. And then like my wolf skill, like normally you can only have one wolf, and you can pick up some stuff to like get more. So these little dots, like I'm just gonna assume you haven't played the game, but you can pick stuff up, like, and then to get to the next point you have to put that many points to get that, you know, connection. So that's pretty cool. And then outside of like, you know, you pick which skills you want to specialize in, and you can switch these out freely, but when you do, they like lose levels, so you're like disincentivized to do it. So there is that sense of like, I'm not just gonna constantly switch stuff out because that's detrimental to your build. But if you do want to experiment and try something else, you're not, you know, prevented from that. And then it has like this passive tree, kind of similar to the Titan quests and the Grim Dawns, where you know, go sideways and you can like multi-class. So that's one thing that's pretty cool. You can actually like put points into all 4 of these different classes. Just the one, every class has 3 to choose from, and then they all get like their own like unique ability that the other classes don't have access to. And then the one that you choose, like you can only put points into this tree, like if you're multi-classing in it, up to like this chain. So for Shaman and Druid, you know, I can put points into it, but I can only put points up to here. Whereas with Beastmaster, I can go all the way into the tree. And then same thing for your base class, which the base class, like there's usually not a lot of amazing things. It's more just sort of like general stats, but still not like bad stats. Like it's definitely not, you know, something you want to ignore. But you know, you can work through the tree, pick up what you want. As you level it up, you unlock these skills down at the bottom. So like currently, you know, I have all these skills unlocked, you know, and I could probably even like do some respecking to fine-tune this, because this is a legacy character for me. But I didn't finish, like I haven't like got it to end game really. Like I have a wizard or a sorcerer who is in like the end game system. Like he's cleared the campaign. I've been doing the, I forget exactly what they're called, but like the version of maps for this game. So he's been doing those. This character I have is like nearing the end of the campaign, and so I'm probably gonna, you know, mess around with both of the characters and just kind of, you know, see what I can come up with. But this character I use like Earthquake as my main damage, and then I have like 4 wolves. I'm gonna pick this up soon, and then I'll have like 5 wolves. So I think that's pretty cool. And then I get like, my wolves get buffed when I use Howl. So just some cool stuff. Like it's, you know, I feel like this is you know, pretty cool setup I've got, where I'm kind of like a melee character, but I also have like very strong melee character. But I've got like, you know, these summons as well that just, you know, buff me and I buff them, and it's synergistic, which is pretty sweet. And then right now, like currently, PoE 2 I think is missing a lot of like customization, and you know, hopefully it will come over time as they add the weapons and they add, you know, more abilities and stuff. But currently it just doesn't really feel like it's there to me. Like you have just like two, now sort of three melee weapons with the spear, but they all, you know, only have a couple of abilities, and it's, you know, pretty much you have like maybe two or three, you know, very small handful of choices on how to actually like build your character per weapon. And so it's just like kind of missing that sort of like customization and whatnot that you get from PoE 1. And just like a lot of the uniques aren't there yet to give you sort of like interesting like build. Oh, so I didn't know there was like this in the game. Okay, sweet. I gotta go. Okay, I guess it just automatically sends them to the forge now. Before you used to have to like open up your I think this might just be like a huge upgrade for me, because this gets like massive amounts of. Oh, that was like a 50% damage increase. Sick. So this this ability gets like 700% effectiveness from added damage, and this has like a huge amount of added damage. So that's pretty sick. You can see though it doesn't like my Gathering Storm DPS. Okay, I guess it goes up about, you know, the same percentage wise. But yeah, so now we are smashing stuff. And I can't remember if I picked up, there's like this here where depending on, like, I might get this just because of how much damage, if like that'd be another 50 added damage times like 8, so that'd be like another 400 added damage. So we'll see. But that's like, you know, just kind of some of the interesting, you know, and you can see like my wolves are not like an insignificant source of damage. Oh, we got some unique gloves. But I can personally just kind of like one-shot everything, as long as I have mana. So that's why I have to use this to kind of like regenerate my mana. But yeah, I forget what all this does. So you howl, granting frenzy, and I'm pretty sure I have it like upgraded too. So what? Oh yeah, so I think I was about to get this next. I think it buffs my like me as well. It's been a minute since I played this character. So, howl. Okay. Okay. So yeah, it emboldens themselves and allies around them. So that's me. So I get 25% more like damage. So let's see, we're at 31.3k. Now we're at 42. Okay. So yeah, I think that's why I was like sticking with the wolves, just because of howl. And then I can pick up a couple of like this gives them a chance when they're hitting a rare boss or an enemy, or sorry, a rare or a boss. And then it's like you know, 2% per point, But when I've got 5 wolves, which I'll have 5 wolves very soon, you can just imagine, like, on a boss fight, how much, like, howl... Like, I'll basically have, like, permanent howl, which is, you know, a huge multiplier, so... And then it also heals me, and it heals them, so just pretty sick. And I just like the idea of having, like, a wolf pack being, like, the leader of the pack. So yeah, I mean, there's just so many build options currently in this game. Yeah, and you can see we can just, like, one-shot, like, rares and bosses. It's pretty fun doing stuff like that. You feel very powerful in Last Epoch, and I think that's kind of like one thing that's missing in PoE 2 is just that sort of like power fantasy, which that's, you know, a big part of playing an ARPG is getting that power fantasy. Search for the signs of the missing miners. Did I miss a quest? Oh, I did. Okay. So let's go here real quick, and then we'll go back and find these. Uh-oh. Okay, I don't remember this. Actually, I sort of remember this. And then the monsters just start, like, coming at you. Oh. But yeah, okay, so let's see if we get a waypoint here. Is there a... I'm so used to the hotkeys from... Okay, there's the waypoint, and then we're gonna go back. But yeah, playing 2 games, like, the hotkeys sometimes start to get a little mixed up. So we need to go back to the mines. But yeah, there's just so many build options in this game, and ways to, like, build your class. Again, I don't really know, like, what is and is not, like, viable at the end game, but I think, you know, that a lot of things are pretty, you know, pretty viable. But yeah, you can see just how much my attack speed goes up too when I howl. And I've also got this. So, like, they added a dodge roll into the game, and you can find items that, like, change how the dodge roll works. And right now I have an item that adds, like, a fear effect that also increases damage taken by, like, 14%. So I can just kind of, like, one-shot bosses. Alright, let's take a look here. So, melee, spell damage, attack and cast speed, I think these gloves are probably better. Being immune to slow. Just having swiftness, which swiftness gives me like a 10%. You know, pretty good, like, move speed buff. I kind of forgot about like my leap slam too. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I was using this for. Oh, okay, so Berserk, yeah, I think that's what it was. I wish I could... Berserk. What does Berserk do? I don't remember. That's one thing I liked in PoE 2 is like you could, maybe I'm hitting the wrong hotkey, but you could like go to that word and click on it. You gain Berserk. When you have Berserk, you gain additional stacks of Berserk. What does Berserk do? I don't remember. We're gonna look it up real quick. Last Epoch Berserk. You take 1% increased damage, but you and your minions have 3% increased movement speed and melee attack speed per point. Is that accurate? Berserk. Not really sure how it highlights stuff. Let's try links. Oh, okay, so it does sort of like highlight stuff. Again, it's kind of just getting used to... Okay, so... Melee damage per stack plus 4. You gain Berserk when you Warcry. Additional melee damage. You gain additional stacks of Berserk on melee hit up to a maximum. And melee hits refresh all the stacks. Okay, so that's why I had that. Like, it's kind of hard to remember sometimes when you set up a character and then don't play it for like a year. You know, I mean, it's been probably at least a year since I've played this character. So trying to remember like everything, how I had it set up. So let's see. Okay, so there's the Berserk buff. Or no, that's aspect of the shark. So that's pretty sick. And then we got the leap slam with like it makes a fisher. But yeah, I mean, I don't typically like, I don't tend to enjoy the like the generator spender type of gameplay from ooh, this guy's actually like making me use all my cooldowns. Yeah, let's go. But yeah, I don't typically enjoy the spender generator setup of gameplay when it's forced on you, but when you know makes sense for the build and you like set it up that way, I think that's fine. So like this is like a spender sort of generator like setup in a lot of ways. If I can get enough mana to where I don't have to use like the generator, that would be like ideal. But like for the time being, that's just how I have to basically like play the character, and it makes it work. But also not being forced into that playstyle on every build, I think is, you know, very good. So I'm actually really thinking I'm gonna probably continue playing Last Epoch, and it's nice to be able to revisit some of these characters that I had started without feeling like I'm missing out on the season. Because all the seasonal content is available in, it's all available to the, everyone playing the game. Like, you don't have to make a seasonal character to play the new content. Which, you know, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to have, like, seasons, but it is nice to, like, not gatekeep the new content. because me, like, I'm only playing this game solo self-found, like, with the faction where you just get, like, your, you know, extra, like, magic find and stuff, and then I'm crafting everything myself. Like, I'm not trading or anything. So, it doesn't really impact me if there's, like, an economy reset. But it's also, like, ooh. Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot about this, like, alright, let's kill this guy. I kind of forgot about this, like, this Nemesis system. So I'm pretty sure we want to do the Empower. The items will combine into a Vengeful Nemesis and available in the following counters. Challenge will combine into the items are then draw. Okay, so yeah, you normally want to do the Empower. You normally want to do the Empower function. Oh, yeah. And then when you get it, like, fully juiced up, that's when you challenge it, and you get the, like, all the drops. So, video's starting to probably get a little long here, but these are kind of my thoughts. Like, I'll just sum it up at, you know, for PoE 2. So right now, I think Last Epoch is, like, the obviously more complete game. The graphics are, you know, not the best compared to PoE 2, but they're still, like, very serviceable. Like, I don't mind this style of graphics at all. It just reminds me of, like, you know, Diablo 2, which is great. PoE 2 definitely, I think, has the better graphics, the better movement, like, on animations and monsters and everything. It's more smooth. But the problem there is there's a lot of bugs right now in PoE 2, like, that have happened in the latest patch where, like, for me, the game's, like, locking up and freezing. Sometimes it, like, you get this, like, huge hang up and, like, pause, and then your mini-map resets, so you have to, like, you don't even have your mini-map that you've already explored. And, you know, that's just really interesting kind of bug. So Last Epoch is way more stable. Stable of a game. It runs better in a lot of ways. There's more interesting itemization currently, more items to choose from. I think, you know, currently with how, like, the class system works, I'd say definitely, like, more classes, more customization options currently. I am still definitely, like, a huge fan of grinding your games and PoE, and really looking forward to seeing what they can come up with and what they can do. And, you know, I'll definitely be continuing to play it and check it out, but right now, in this moment, in, what is this? What are we at? Like, April 2025? With both games just having put out, like, new patches, new content, etc. Personally, I'm leaning towards Last Epoch right now, and I think that's probably what I'm going to be playing a little bit in the, you know, immediate future. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. Like, let me know your thoughts on the two games, kind of what you're thinking, what you're playing. I'd definitely like to know. And then remember to give them the D.